Hi guys, this is Mr. Call. We're just going to go ahead and do homework help for homework 2.4, solving negative and backwards two-step equations. Again, we're using the box on these. So let's go ahead and get started. For some reason, I always like to start with problem number 4. Oh no, this time I did 3. That's good. Okay, so problem number 3 this time. Now we're going to write all the things that are happening to J in our box, and that's going to help us kind of see what's going on. So I write J above the box, right? And then we say, okay, first thing happening to J is this thing right here. Okay? Now, that is actually a negative 5 times J. So what we'll do is here, over in our box, we're going to write times by a negative 5. The best way I like to think about this is that the negative, or the sign just to the left of what we're talking about, is associated with it, right? So technically, this is a positive 6 minus 5j equals negative 94. So the best way we can do this is just realize, oh, hey, that j is being multiplied by a negative 5, and then we're adding 6 to it. So I'm going to write plus 6 in my box. Okay, remember bottoms up here on this, going from the bottom to the top, and we're going to do the opposite operation. So instead of add 6, we're going to minus 6 from both sides. Then we're going to, instead of timing by 5, timing by a negative 5, we're going to divide by a negative 5. So let's go ahead, let's do it. First thing here, so minus 6 from both sides. Now I'm going to kind of erase that right there, okay? So minus 6 from both sides, minus 6, and minus 6, okay? So I do that, my 6's cancel. Positive 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm left with a negative 5j. Be careful, a lot of people only want to write the 5j and not bring the negative down. It is associated with that 5 though, so careful with that. And then negative 94 minus 6 is negative 100. Next step, so we did this one. Next step, we're going to divide by negative 5. Let's do it. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 leaves me just 1j. I'll just write j instead of 1j, but that's how that goes. And then negative 100 divided by negative 5 gives me 20. So we have j equals 20. And we used our box, did everything it said to. We know what j is. J equals 20, so we're good. Okay, let's go ahead on to the next one. I won't pretend to know what one it is. Oh, look, it is number 4 this time. Oh, good. Okay, so first off, while looking at this, we're solving for k. I need to add something, though, to k that helps us kind of see what's going on there. Because k is being multiplied by actually, there's a 1 here in front of this k. So talking about what's going on with k is it's actually being multiplied by that negative 1. Notice this time that the sign here with the 10 is actually a negative 10. Okay, so if we're to rewrite that, writing in my box for k, we're going to say first it's being multiplied by a negative 1, then it's being subtracted by 10. Now remember, we're going bottoms up, so going from the bottom to the top on this one, and we will say, okay, we're going to now add 10 to both sides, and then we will divide by a negative 1. So let's do what the box says. Let's draw my line here. Oh, let's erase that smiley face kind of looking thing there. Draw my line here, and we'll say add 10 to both sides is the first step. So plus 10, plus 10. Here we go. Those cancel. Yeah, negative 10 plus 10 goes to 0, right? I'm left with a negative 1k equals 46. And my box says, after we've added 10 to both sides, I'm going to divide by a negative 1. So let's divide by a negative 1. Divide by a negative 1. And I get that k is equal to negative 46. So if we were to write it out here, just so we can see a bit, that would be nice. Again, just kind of weird with that minus x there, that minus k there, and we just had to put that 1 up here, and it worked out just fine. So next one, let's do it. Number 16. Okay, remember, so it's backwards. We know this is a little bit more thinking than we're used to here on these ones. Again, remember, that's a negative 2 times that n, okay? We're not talking about it just being a 2 times the n, but a negative 2 times that n. And we have a positive 7 here on the outside. Right, so the negative goes with the 2. It's a positive 7. We don't normally write it, just whenever it's 7 is like given that it's positive. Now let's go ahead, let's fill out our box here. So n at the top, we want to write down the things that are happening to n. First thing happening to n here is it's being multiplied by negative 2. So times by negative 2. I like to write the negatives in parentheses again, just so I can remember it's not a minus 2, and if I'm being sloppy or something. Okay, so it's times by negative 2, and then we're adding 7. So let's go ahead, let's write plus 7. And remember, bottoms up, do the opposite. I'm going to minus 7 from both sides, and then I'm going to divide by a negative 2. So let's do it. I can erase this stuff here. So, oops. Negative 7. So it says we're going to minus 7 from both sides. Is the first step there. Minus 7, and the 7's cancel. I'm left with a negative 2n. Remember that negative. That negative is important on that negative 2n, okay? And that equals 31 minus 7 is 24. Okay. So with that, let's see, can I move that up a bit? Okay, sure. So negative 2n equals 24. Next step is divide by a negative 2. So divide both sides by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I get that n equals negative 12. There we go. And I think that's it for that one. So, oh wait, I probably do one more. Do I do a word problem? Yes. Okay. Sorry, word problem time. Let's read it. So it says, number 19, Mrs. Judy has 15 cats. She gives one away every day because she doesn't want to be known as the cat lady. How many days will it take for, for her to get to an acceptable number of cats? 1 cat is acceptable. So write an equation to represent the situation and then solve. So as we look at this, Mrs. Judy has 15 cats. She gives 1 cat away each day. So she loses 1 cat each day. So I'm going to do D for day. And she wants to know how long it will take her to get down to 1 cat. So let's take a look at this one. Again, we're going to be talking about what is happening to D. So D first up here. D is being multiplied by a negative 1 because she's losing 1 cat each day. And then remember, we think of what the sign is over here. That's a positive 15. So right, plus 15. We're going to go bottoms up and do the opposite. So I'm going to minus 15 from both sides to start, and then I'm going to divide by a negative 1. So let's do it. Minus 15 from both sides. Draw my line here. Positive 15 minus 15 goes to 0. I'm left with a negative 1d. Again, biggest mistake here is forgetting that negative, so don't forget it. Okay. Then we have 1 minus 15 is negative 14. Then our next step is to divide by a negative 1. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, and I get D equals positive 14. So it will take 14 days for Mrs. Judy to not be that cat lady. Great. Well, thanks. Hopefully that helped, and we'll see you next time.